let's proceed. First we will start with the input shaft. Again, no scoring, nothing, just a slight discoloration, particularly in this area where seal was actually making this inner race a bit shiny, but everything in great condition. All teeth are terrific, there is no chipping in a cushioning mechanism, so everything looks great. I'm just going to replace this bearing. So there is a plate beneath the bearing, and you want to drive your separator between that plate and a bearing, and then we're just going to press it with a press. Also, since clutch rod is going through this shaft, it's important not to jam this opening, so I'm going to use socket to protect it. Right. Input shaft is free, and we are going to replace this bearing. Okay, now we can move forward with the output shaft. On this side we have one bearing and then bigger one on this side, and there is a circlip essentially that holds it in place. This is a famous circlip that actually missed on some of the newer models that caused a lot of issue. There's a circlip, and then we also have another clip beneath it. And now we can start pulling out these two bearings. Alright. Okay, so now at this point we can start disassembling the output shaft. So first we have this washer that is sharp on one edge and beveled on the another, and bevel part goes toward the bushing of first gear. So I'm first going to remove that. Second part is gear itself, so I'll remove that as well. Then we have a bushing. Okay, and finally we have another washer that has beveled and sharp part. Beveled part again goes against bushing. And that's our first gear. Now fourth gear just slides out like this. And second gear is actually held in place with a snappering ring, which we can remove. Okay, so now second gear with this special washer comes out. Okay, there is another stainless steel bushing here, and this one usually stays with the shaft. You can press it out, but if everything is fine, you actually don't need to touch this one, so I'll let it stay there. And now we can move toward this side and remove this bearing, and then other two gears should actually pop out. Okay. So here with the separator you want to be very careful so separator is not actually pressing against teeth of a fifth gear. That's why I'm not going to tighten it too much, and I still hope it's going to have enough meat to grab under the bearing so we can drive it out. Okay, now fifth gear just slides out. And the last gear is basically free. Okay. And finally we have intermediate shaft, and now we will disassemble this one. All 3 shafts are done, and now we can actually start with putting new bearings. So now when we have 3rd and 5th gear installed, we can proceed with 1st, 2nd and 4th. Okay, so this is a 2nd gear, and one side has holes for dogs, another does not, and it goes this way. So over this bushing, right? Now there is a slotted washer that goes over it, just like that. And now the snippering ring. Good. Now we have 4th, and 4th has dogs on both sides, but also has this part where forks are engaging, and that actually faces down. Now washer, there are 2 washers for the 1st gear, thinner and thicker one, and they have flat edge and beveled edge. So first goes thinner one, and you cannot make mistake because this one actually goes over the shoulder of a shaft, this one does not. Alright, and the chamfered part faces bushing over 1st gear, so just like that. And then bushing over 1st gear, there is a hole in it, and there is also a hole in a shaft. So align these 2 because that's oil passage. This. And now 1st gear with the dog holes facing dogs. So it goes like this. And finally thicker washer with a chamfered part faces down. Alright, and now we can go ahead and install the bearing. Right, and now finally we are going to put back snapper ring here and this clip, and that's it. That's it, bearings are changed. And next thing that we are going to do is replace all springs and roller on a shifting mechanism. So before we put everything back together and start reshimming this gearbox, I would like to spend some time reconditioning or rebuilding this shifting mechanism. Honestly, based on what I see here, it seems that someone was already replacing some of the parts. This roller looks newish to me, but the problem is I don't see what other parts were replaced and if they are updated new parts or previous owner went with the older ones inside. So for that particular reason I'm going to replace all of the springs, including this roller. I believe that's the best practice since it's not easy to first to take off the gearbox and then disassemble everything if you have a faulty item inside. So how we are going to do this, the best practice is actually if you put shifting mechanism in first gear, so that way you know that first gear, first tooth from this cam goes actually between first and second tooth on this cam over here, and that's the way how it should be assembled. If you do it the wrong way, gearbox is going to shift, but it's not going to shift properly. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. Snapper ring pliers, we will remove this snapper ring and then free this cam here. Okay. And this one just slides out. Okay, easy as that. Okay, so next thing we are going to remove this snapper ring, and that should, with some fiddling, enable us to remove another cam. Now, to make this cam free, you basically need 3 hands. So you need to remove this part here, so it's not pressing it. In the same time, roller also needs to be spread out. So I'll move roller out and this guy down, and then it just slides up. Okay. And this is actually part of a shifter lever. So as you are pushing down and up, this one essentially moves and then engages with these parts here, and then changes the gears. Right, so back to our shifting mechanism. We will start replacing springs one at a time, and here you can see how it actually, for instance, this one engages. It has a hook on one side and then flat part on the another. That's this spring, and now we can go ahead and first replace that one. In order to do that, there is a snapper ring behind that you need to remove. a washer as well, and this one just slides out. Okay, and this is old spring. I'll put it aside, and then while I'm still here, I'm going to replace this roller. And this is the one where snapper ring pliers do not fit. Okay, so unfortunately this snapper ring is too small for either one of my two snapper ring pliers, and I'll try actually to remove it in a different way. There it is. And now roller just comes out. Okay. That's that. And old snapper ring. I'm just going to put a bit of lube here. Now we can put new snapper ring. It's fully seated. Always try to check it by pushing it, if it slides nicely. And that's it. Okay. Now spring goes like this. little bit of grease here. On this side we have this washer and snappering ring. Rounded side faces washer. Okay, that one is done. Okay. Now we will work on this spring here, which is the one that usually fails a lot, and we are going to replace that one as well. Okay, in order to do that, first we will need to rotate this circlip. Now a tiny screwdriver should be able just to pry it out. There it is. Okay. So now when we can just pull this out. And spring as well. Okay. And now at the same time we are going to remove this spring, and in order to do that there is a snappering ring on the back that needs to be removed. Okay, it's out, and then this just you press it out and that's it. First do big spring. This one just slides out like that. So these arms should actually look up when you put it, something like this. So this is a correct way. Instead of this is the wrong way. Okay. And now we need to flip this side to come here and other side to come here. Okay, so I think like this. Okay. So this one just slides in, and then this pin needs to go between these two spring arms, just like this. Okay. There it is. Perfect. Okay. Now we can put snappering ring back. There it is. Looks great. And finally, this one. This is a famous one that actually can snap and then you are left stranded. And the reason for that is that these 90 degrees bends usually rub here and then get thinner and thinner until they completely snap. So for that reason, it's always a good idea when you are rebuilding the gearbox actually to change at least this spring, but it doesn't hurt to change others as well. So now we need to push this one in, and usually that can be challenging. Okay. That's it. Finally. clip that just needs to be pressed back. Just like that. And finally, now we are going to put cams back. Okay. First one is in. Okay. That's it. And the second one. So tooth number 1 between 1 and 2, and another snap ring. There it is. Okay, so now we can just check it. So this is first gear, neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay. Everything seems to be working. Okay, and this is also ready to go back.